When you think about getting hacked, you probably picture viruses, complicated firewalls, all that technical stuff. But what if I told you that the biggest, most advanced threats out there today, they're not even aimed at your computer? We're going to talk about something way more personal and, honestly, way more dangerous.
See, for years, all the focus has been on protecting our machines, our laptops, our phones. But the game has totally changed. The smartest attackers out there, they figured out that the weakest link in any security system isn't the software. It's us. It's the person sitting in the chair. Because hackers don't just hack devices,
They hack minds. And that right there, that's the key to this whole explainer. We're going to go beyond the code and dive deep into the world of psychology to really understand these new threats that target our own instincts and decision-making. So, here's the plan. First, we'll nail down what hacking minds really means. Then, we'll dissect one of these deceptions to see how it actually works. After that, we're opening up the Hacker's Toolkit to look at their go-to moves. We'll also touch on some of the more, let's say, loud and disruptive attacks. And then we'll wrap up with the single most powerful defense you have, you. Okay, let's jump right in. Section 1. Hacking minds, not machines. This is the big idea, the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about today. So let me just ask you straight up, what is social engineering? You've probably heard that term thrown around, but what does it actually mean when we're talking about the internet? Well, here's the simplest way to think about it. Social engineering isn't an attack on your computer. It's not about software bugs or viruses. It's an attack on your mind. It's a strategy that's built to just completely bypass all the technical stuff by exploiting basic human psychology, things like our trust, our curiosity, even our desire to be helpful. And this quote from our source material absolutely nails it. It is the art of deceiving people to make them reveal secret information. The most important word in that whole sentence? Art. This isn't just code, it's a performance, it's a con, and it's designed specifically to manipulate you. All right, let's move on. Now that we know what we're dealing with, let's pull back the curtain and look at the anatomy of these deceptions. I mean, how do they actually pull it off? So the whole trick is that these methods aren't about code, they're about psychology. The attackers are experts at pushing our emotional buttons. They'll create a story that makes you feel a sense of urgency, or maybe they'll pretend to be someone you trust, like your boss. It's all designed to get you to act before you have time to think, and to willingly just hand over the keys. Okay, this brings us to the really interesting part. Let's pry open that Hacker's Toolkit and take a look at the specific tactics they're using to mess with our heads. We're going to focus on 3 of the most powerful and, frankly, most common techniques you're likely to run into: spear phishing, pretexting, and baiting. First up is spear phishing. Now, you know about regular phishing, those generic scam emails that go out to millions of people. Think of that as phishing with a giant net. Spear phishing, well, that's phishing with a laser-guided harpoon. It's not random. It's a highly personalized attack aimed at one specific person, you. So how do they make it so convincing? Simple. They do their homework. They go on social media, they look at your company's website, they'll find your real name, your job title, maybe even the name of a project you're working on. Then they weave all those little details into an email that looks incredibly real. It builds instant trust and makes you way more likely to click on something you shouldn't. Next up in the toolkit, pretexting. Okay, so if spear phishing is the custom-built lure, pretexting is the whole story that goes with it. The attacker basically becomes an actor. They invent a fictional scenario, a pretext, to get you to do what they want. They might call you pretending to be from IT support, saying they need your password for an urgent system update, or maybe they're from your bank investigating fraud on your account. It's a complete fabrication. And the third tactic is baiting. This one is almost deviously simple because it plays on our own curiosity and, let's be honest, our love for free stuff. The classic example? An attacker leaves a USB drive in an office parking lot with a label on it that says something like confidential Q4 salaries. They know someone will be too curious to resist. They'll pick it up, plug it into their computer, and boom, the bait is taken, the network is wide open. So, social engineering is subtle. It's about tricking you to get in the door. But what happens once they're inside? Or what if the trick doesn't work? Well, that's when they often switch from the quiet con to much more direct, much more disruptive attacks. Let's look at 2 of the big ones. So here we have 2 very different kinds of trouble. On one side, you've got ransomware. Think of this as digital kidnapping. A piece of malicious software gets onto your system, scrambles all your files, and locks them up tight. Your data is literally held hostage until you pay a ransom. Then, on the other side, you've got DDoS attacks. This isn't about stealing your data. It's about causing chaos. It's when an attacker floods a website server with so much useless traffic that it gets completely overwhelmed. It's like creating a massive digital traffic jam that blocks any real users from getting through. All right, all of this brings us to our final and honestly, our most important section. We've talked about all these crazy threats out there, but the real power to stop them, it doesn't come from a fancy piece of software. It comes from the ultimate firewall, you. So this is the million-dollar question, right? After hearing about all these sneaky tactics, what can you actually do to protect yourself? Well, the first and most important step is just being aware. And that awareness really comes down to developing one critical skill. How do you learn to spot the difference between a message that's legit and one that's a carefully crafted fake? It's all about training yourself to pause, to be a little skeptical, and to look for the clues. So let's make this super practical. What are those clues? Think about the telltale signs. Is the message trying to create a crazy sense of urgency, pressuring you to act right now? Take a close look at the sender's email. Is it spelled just a little bit wrong? Are there weird grammar mistakes? Here's a big one. Always hover your mouse over a link before you click it to see where it's really going to take you. Recognizing these little signs is your absolute best defense. And at the end of the day, this is what I really want to leave you with. Look, you should absolutely have antivirus software and firewalls. That technical protection is super important. But if these attacks are designed to hack the human mind, the real question you have to ask yourself is your mind protected?